Thanks to our magnificent brains, most of us live out our lives under the delusion that we are in control. But are our brains truly in control? Makes you think, doesn't it? Engrossed in the thrilling cinematic exploits of their ancestors, the freelance police have had no time to ponder these eternally vexing questions. But in mere moments, they and you will be plunged headfirst into these murky philosophical depths when Sam returns from his ill-timed bathroom break to discover they stole Max's brain.
Max? Little buddy? No, 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 no! No!
What happened?
Hey! What happened to Max? Talk!
We don't know! 1 second we were guarding the devil's toy box, then BAM! Out went the lights!
Through a fog of rage, darkness, and raisinets, I tried to remember what Flint Paper told me about interrogating suspects.
Rule number 1, don't let the suspect control the conversation. Get him talking, then surprise him. Interrupt him with a question, or call him a liar, freak him out. And if all else fails, bring little Miss Persuasion out for a stroll.
Actually, I think it was more of a boom, really.
Really? Because I just...
What are you talking about?
The devil's toy box!
It's a source of horrible, terrible power.
And now it's gone!
We're doomed!
Doomed!
Stop doing that! What else can you tell me?
Well, that's the last thing we remember until you woke us up and started snarling at us.
Yeah, that's the last thing we remember.
Rule number 2, timing is everything. When you hear the suspect lying, that's when you jump in and accuse him.
Yup, I was totally unconscious the whole time.
Liar!
All right. I came to before Jebediah, just in time to hear the telltale sounds of a brain being removed from a bunny.
Obadiah, why didn't you do anything?
I was afraid. Afraid that he'd remove my brain too.
Who? Who took Max's brain?
It was the space gorilla.
Skunk Ape.
Of course. He must have been released from the penal zone when the toy box was stolen.
I'm so sorry.
Not half as sorry as that brain-stealing space ape's gonna be when I catch up with him.
Rule number 3, mole men are easy. To crack the tough nuts, you'll need information to prove your case. Sometimes you gotta ask around to get the dirt on the doers. Now, go get 'em.
I wrote a mental note to thank Flint at Max's funeral and got ready to squeeze some punks. General Skunky. I should have known. That space ape had wanted Max's brain ever since he found out it was special. Now that special brain was gone, and I was cut loose, drifting in the neon current, hoping for a lucky break. Hello, ugly. You're one of Skunk Ape's goons. Where's your boss? What did he do to my little buddy?
I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunk Copy since you unjustly imprisoned him in the penal zone. I'll never forget his final terrified howl as it echoed.
What are you talking about?
Don't you remember when you and your partner defeated my leader, the magnificent General Skunkape, by trapping him in the penal zone?
Oh yeah, that. So?
As I was saying, since Skunkape's imprisonment, I've been reevaluating my life choices. I've abandoned violence for a career as a science bear.
Then what?
Enough about me. You should talk to the rat. Yes, the rat. He certainly seems plugged into the ins and outs of it.
Rat? What rat?
Frankie the rat. He traffics in stolen merchandise in tawdry gambling rings.
Where can I find him?
He hangs out on the corner of Veni and Vidi in the Latin Quarter.
Frankie the Rat. The name left a bad taste on my tongue and an itchy sensation in my boxers. Still, there wasn't a rodent more plugged into the bad wiring in the city. Hey, Rat.
Sam, buddy, how's it hanging?
My partner's got a bad case of a missing brain, and someone thinks you might know something about it.
Brain, huh? Well, I did see something unusual and brain-related a little while back.
Spill!
I was given directions to a confused tourist. Poor fella was wandering around and saw it.
Where?
Hey, take it easy, big fella. I sent him right over that way, about 2 miles.
Frankie the Rat helping a tourist? It was absurd. Absurd like Max was, back when he had a brain. So imagine my surprise when I found Frankie's tourist wandering around the bad side of town.
Oh! Ah!
You, foreign guy, what's your story?
Ooh, an American police shakedown! How thrilling!
Yeah, it's a real honor. Now, what do you know?
Well, about an hour ago, I was getting directions to the museum district from one of your colorful local rats.
And Frankie sent you here?
Yeah.
Dirty lion rat.
You know, back in Europe, I heard so many warnings about your country's
Museum district?
See, yeah. As a child in Europe, I always dreamt of visiting your city's famous museum district with its Institute of Incomplete Technologies and Hall of Filthy Arts. It's a little more underwhelming than it appeared in my schulbooks. Any Flugen, I was about to give him a tip for the help, when all of a sudden a Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg erupted in the middle of one of your asphalt fjords. At least I think it was Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg. It might have been more of an ödeler Spuck.
Then what?
After the fight moved on, I discovered that someone had picked my pockets, leaving me empty-handed and ibble-skibbled in a strange land. I left the scene of the crime, carrying nothing but the clothes on my back. And you know what else? I'm starting to think that this isn't actually the museum district. Maybe...
What?
Ibble-skibbled. It's a common European word that describes the feeling of my disorientation combined with nagging doubts about a rat. Honestly, what do they teach you Americans in your schools?
Video poker!
So, what else would you like to know? People in this country are so intense!
The tourist seemed like just another victim circle in the drain, but I knew there was more to the story. It was time to circle back and flush out the truth.
do a repeat performance.
Let's run through it one more time. And speak slowly. I'm an American.
As I said before, you know, back in Europe, I heard so many warnings about your country's threats.
Another lost soul on the highway of life, forced to get directions from the rats at their feet.
Excuse me? I'm afraid I don't understand your gritty American metaphors and illusions. Ausgewählt? I was about to give him a tip for the help when all of a sudden a Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg erupted in the middle of one of your asphalt fjords. At least I think it was a Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg. It might have been more of an ödeler...
Liar!
Nein, nee, it really was a Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg. But more like a kleine Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg. But anyway, after the fight moved on, I discovered that someone had picked my pockets, leaving me empty-handed and ipple-skippled in a strange land. I left the scene of the crime, carrying nothing but the clothes on my back. You know what else?
Liar!
What? Lie? How dare you make such an accusation without a shred of proof? When I get back to the hotel, I will report you to the European consulate at once.
Fine.
Fine. Now, where was I? Oh, yes.
Let's hear your sad little story again, from the top.
Very well. You know, back in Europe, I heard so many warnings about your country's threats.
What happened next?
I was about to give him a tip for the help when all of a sudden a Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg erupted in the middle of one of your asphalt fjords. At least I think it was Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg. Is that one of your famous American handguns? Fascinating. We don't have any of these in Europe, you know. After the fight moved on, I discovered that someone had picked my pockets, leaving me empty-handed and ipple-skippled in a strange land. I left the scene of the crime, carrying nothing but the clothes on my back. You know what else? I'm starting... Is that one of your famous... Shall I continue?
Let's hear your...
Very well. You know, back in Europe, I heard so many warnings about your country. Is that one of your... I was about to give him a... At least I think it was Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg.
A hard rain's coming, pal. And when it comes, you're gonna wish you were only in a Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg.
Your grimness is depressing, but something must be getting lost in a translation. So, as I was saying, after the fight moved on, I discovered that... You know what else?
It's a strange land, all right. Strange and dark and twisted and...
Please stop! I'm already ipple-skippled enough.
Sorry.
De nada. Anything else?
Let's hear your sad little story again, from the top.
Very well. You know, back in Europe, I heard so many warnings about your...
You lie!
You're right, it was more like 57 minutes ago. Yeah, but you American police are stinklers. Anyhow, I was about to give him a tip. At least I think it was Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg.
Ultra super colored what now?
Weltraumliebe-Wachzauberkrieg. My people's word for a stunning battle between a strangely garbed man and an alien space gorilla carrying a brain in a jar. So, where was I? Oh, yes! After the fight moved on, I discovered that someone had picked my pockets, leaving me empty-handed and ipple-skippled in a strange land. You know what else? I'm starting to think that this isn't a...
What?
Ipple-skippled! It's a...
Video poker!
So, what else would you...
Frankie, what do you know?
I was given directions to a confused tourist.
To the museum district?
Yeah, poor fella was wandering around in circles, scaring all the kiddies with his...
Don't lie to me, Frankie. I talked to your tourist, and it looks to me like you sent him over to the wrong side of town to get rolled by your rat pack.
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but this conversation is over. I ain't saying nothing till I get some legal representation. Annoy with some people, trampling a rat's God-given merengue right.
Do you want a lawyer? Here's an attorney from Smith & Wesson.
Okay, I'll talk. Sheesh. Well, like you guessed, I gave the tourist directions to the bad side of town, but I was just winding him up, really. Hey, you ask me, the schmuck deserved it, acting all...
What?
You know, the bad side of town, Hoboville, Flemberg, Broken Corners, that area. Anyway, when the big fight broke out, me, the tourist, and the other gorilla ducked down behind the crate, and I, picked their pockets. The tourist was loaded with high-exchange European stuff.
Other gorilla? What other gorilla?
Believe it or not, it was another space ape. He was spinning a sign for some pet store, the poor schlub.
So that dirty punk sign spinner did see Skunk Ape.
Anyway, after the fight moved on, the tourist got a nice souvenir for his trouble, and I skedaddled back here. And that's all I know, honest. Ask any...
Liar!
No, honest, I came right back here. And then you showed up and started slapping me around. So now what?
Once more, with feeling.
If you insist. Like you guessed, I gave the tourist directions to the bad side. Hey, ask me, the schmuck does it.
The whole stinking city's wound up. Like a...
Do you want me to finish my story, or do you want to go off on another depressing tangent?
I'm not really sure.
Anyway, when the big fight broke out, the tourist was loaded with
Sure, hide behind your crates and wait for someone else to do something. But one day, the violence in the streets is gonna spill over the gutters and stain your pretty white socks with the blood of the innocents.
Socks? I don't got any socks. I'm a rat.
Don't you forget it.
Anyway, after the fight... And that's all I know, honest.
I used to skedaddle before the weight of the sin and debauchery.
Yeah, the world's a dark and miserable place. I get it.
Stick around. I may be back.
I shall count the minutes.
Something Frankie said about the tourist was sticking in my craw like a spoonful of peanut butter, chunky style. I'm back. Now where's Skunk Ape?
I don't know. I haven't seen General Skunk Copy since you unjustly imprisoned him in the penal zone. I'll never forget his final.
That story ain't gonna wash, Bonzo. Your pal Frankie told me all about how you and he hid from a fight between Skunk Ape and some other guy. Now make with the lip flapping and I better like what I hear.
It's true. A few of your Earth minutes ago, I was spinning my sign for Frankie the Rat and a tourist when General Skunkape came running down the street, chasing after a strangely garbed man. To my everlasting shame, I cowered behind...
Strangely garbed?
Yes, a man in a faded jacket and a strange hat. He seemed to be carrying a box of some sort. General Skunkape was in hot pursuit. After the general and the stranger fled the scene, I discovered that he had dropped this. I'm surprised he didn't come back for it, but he appeared to be in something of a hurry.
What's that? A brain remover?
I believe it's one of the toys of power that my general has been collecting for the past 25 Krylex.
I knew that. Give me that toy.
No! I need it to get back in General Skunkape's good graces. Once I return this artifact to the General, he'll forgive my temporary abandonment of his goals and welcome me back to his crew with open arms. Oh, how I've come to miss that. That pitiful pop gun will never make me give up the rhinoplasty Earth Dog.
But where's Skunk Ape?
Weren't you paying attention? A few of your Earth minutes ago, I was spinning. To my everlasting shame, I cowered behind a crate like a common...
Some days it seems like the whole world is chasing after me, and someone's tied together my shoelaces with regrets and betrayals.
That's pretty sad, but you don't have any shoes.
It's a metaphor.
So, anyhow, after the general and the stranger fled the scene, I discovered that he had dropped this. I'm surprised he didn't come back for it, but he appeared to be in some...
I dropped something once. I think it was my innocence. Then I dropped my compassion. Now I just drop punks.
Is that supposed to be dark? It doesn't make sense.
Sue me. Give me that toy!
No! I need it to get back in General Skunkape's good graces! Once I return this artifact to the General, he'll... Oh, how I've come to miss standing at my General's side these past few...
I thought you were a sign-spinning pacifist now.
I was, but the sight of the general pummeling that stranger rekindled my hours-dormant lust to conquer the galaxy at his side. Hey, don't you want to know about our baby iguana sale?
A repeat performance.
Let's run through it one more time. And speak slowly. I'm an American.
As I said before, about an hour ago, I was getting directions to the museum district from one of your colorful local rats. You know, back in Europe, I heard so many warnings about your country.
Hurry it up.
I was about to give him a tip for the help, when all of a sudden a Weltraumliebe Wacht... At least I think it was Weltraumliebe...
Liar!
Nein, nee, it really was a Weltraumliebe Wacht Zauberkrieg. After the fight moved... You know what else?
Don't play innocent with me, metric lover. The rat saw you pick up something after the fight. Now spill!
Yeah, it's true. I took a souvenir from the fight. I didn't think anyone would notice. Here.
Norrington? Who the heck is Norrington?
I don't know. Just don't hurt me. You Americans are all animals. Animals.
Finally, a clue. Norrington. The name rang fewer bells than a sleigh in July. Fortunately, it didn't need to. Crimetron, do your stuff! What do you mean not found in database?
The Crimetron requires additional clues to make an informed deduction.
Clues? I haven't got time for clues. Max's body is starting to smell differently.
Then maybe you should stop yelling at my girlfriend and start with the clue-finding.
That dumb ape really thought that his life was about to take a turn for the better. But I knew that the only turns in life are the ones that take you the wrong way down a one-way street to nowhere, where U-turns aren't permitted before 8 p.m. except for city buses. I'm back! Now where's Skunk Ape?
A few of your Earth minutes ago, I was spinning myself. To my everlasting shame, I cowered behind a crate like a common...
You're lying!
Why would I lie about seeing Skunkape after you just caught me in a lie about not seeing him?
Sorry, lost my angry train of thought for a second. Continue!
As I was after the general and the stranger fled the scene, I discovered that he had dropped this. I'm surprised he didn't come back for it, but...
Liar!
It's right in front of your face, see?
Okay, so maybe that's not a lie. Give me that toy!
No! I need it to get back in General Skunkapi's good graces! Oh, how I've come to miss...
You're lying!
About what?
Give me that toy!
No! I need it! Oh, how I've come to...
Huh. You're fooling yourself, kid.
What are you talking about?
The only thing Skunk Ape's gonna welcome you with is a fistful of phasers. You can't go home again. You can't even get on the porch. You've tasted the apple, peed in the pool, bitten the hand that rocks the cradle. You're a sign spinner to him now, and that's all you're ever gonna be.
You're right. It's hopeless. No matter what I do now, I'll never soar through the galaxy at my general's side ever again.
And I hate to tell you, but you're not a very good sign spinner either. I hated to see a grown gorilla cry, so I got in the car and looked for another lost soul to join me as I gazed into the abyss. Last time we saw the rhinoplasty toy, Max's special brain used it to turn into a bazooka. Now it was gonna lead me to the guy who stole that special brain. It wasn't exactly ironic, but I didn't care. Okay, Crime-Tron, this is your last chance before I start looking for an upgrade. Come on, you obsolete hunk of junk. Talk! Where's Skunk Ape?
Sam, no!
Stop holding out on me!
Get away from her, you brute.
Finally.
Audiences across the country say, you're a monster, Sam.
What have you become?
The Museum of Mostly Natural History. The tarnished jewel of the city's once thriving museum district. Max and I always meant to visit, but we'd never gotten around to it. Now we were finally going to take in its thrilling and dubiously educational displays with a vengeance. All right, Skunk Ape, it's time to pay the piper, plus tax and applicable service fees.